Hello and welcome back. Today we've got another £200 worth of 10p's we're hunting through, looking for these elusive alphabet 10p's. Ideally we want some 2018 dated ones, but these were very low mint and they're hard to get. We have got A, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L and M, N, O, R, T, U, V and X, so still the 7 we've been stuck on for quite a while. But we started another 2018 book, our second one, having completed this book once already, and we are one coin off of completing that task once again. We need H for the Houses of Parliament, otherwise we've got another complete book. So let's get into these bags, see what we find. Okay then, so whilst the hunt is ongoing, I'm going to be replying to some of the comments and questions that have been left on my videos over the past few weeks. I take screenshots of ones and save them into a folder and slowly work through them. So if you get a random like and a heart from me, that means it's come to my little data bank of questions or comments to be responded to. So we're going to start off with Howard Lake 6178 says, I can remember buying a bit of lunch from a petrol station once. As I took the change, I noticed a triathlon and thought, maybe there is such thing as a free lunch. It's a very clever way of thinking about that, to be fair, because if the coin is in your handed back to you in change is worth more numismatically or to a collector than your purchase, then yeah, I guess you've made a profit buying lunch. That's be very cool. It happened to one of my colleagues, got a Kew Gardens 50p in change last year, having bought a pretzel. I think it was a pretzel, might have been a waffle. Anyway, to regards to the point, that was a lot of profit made buying lunch. It's Jesse Coins says, do you think you will always keep Christopher Ironsides, or will it get to a point where you feel you will have to stop? It's something I think about more often than you might think. So I keep my Christopher Ironsides. I started doing that purely because I thought it would be funny. It's called Christopher. I'm called Christopher. I should keep them and see how many I could get. And in the back of my mind, I've always thought they're just 50p's. That I've taken them out of the bank at the cost of 50p, effectively, and I can always cash them back in at the cost of 50p. And if I build up enough, I could buy something extravagant and nice with my Christopher Ironside haul. But as that has grown, I've become quite attached to my haul of Christopher Ironside for weird reasons. I don't know why. So I don't really know. I don't have plans on it. I'm not thinking about it too much in that sort of sense, but if ever I needed the money, I can always pay it back in and get it as and when. Craig Zero David says, do you ever do a 20p hunt for the dateless coins that was released? So yes, Grossy and I do the unhuntables, normally every fortnight, every 3 weeks. We go through pennies in one video, then we'll do 2 pennies, then 5p's, then 20p's, and just keep going around having a bit of a chit chat about coins. So yes, every now and again I do a 20p coin hunt for sure. It's me says, at Christopher Collects, just a quick question. I've just started collecting coin packs from the Royal Mint. Just curious of the best ways to store these. Are they okay just to be piled up in a cardboard box, or are there any specific ways to do this? Thanks in advance. So what I would advise against is stacking them on top of each other, purely because the one on the bottom is being pressed down and you've got the weight of all the other ones on top of it, so you might find bent packages, things like that. I stand them up in sort of rows on the shelves behind me. They're on a bit of too low of a shelf for you to see, but they're all just stood up next to each other, so they're not pressing up against each other, they're not pressing down on each other. The main thing I would recommend is be mindful of where you're putting them. You don't want them to be left in somewhere that's in constant direct sunlight, for instance, because that will start bleaching out the colour. Is bleaching out the right term? I don't know. Fading away the colour as sunlight does. And you don't want to keep them somewhere that has extremes of temperature, so it gets very hot and it gets very cold, very hot, very cold, because that can damage things. It's like with any collectible, it's dangerous. It's not a good idea to keep things in attics and lofts and things, because they change. Attics, lofts and garages, because they change temperature so much. So that'd be my advice, but there's not an awful lot you could do wrong with keeping them. But if you're keeping them in a cardboard box, that sounds like a sensible thing to do. Keep them in the box. If you fill up the box, you can get another box, and then you can stack the boxes without crushing the coins inside. So that makes sense. Alan Jenkins says, enjoyed the hunt as usual, mate. Question, I recently noticed that a silver 1878 3p coin in my collection has a rotation error of 180 degrees. Is that normal for coins of this age? I believe so. I know that there are some historic UK coins that are aligned that way. So if you take a coin and rotate it 180 degrees. That's how you rotate our coins. It's called medal alignment. Unlike US coins, where you flip them top to bottom to show the other side facing the correct way, and that's called coin alignment. Some of our historic UK coins are aligned in that coin alignment, but it's not my wheelhouse, that sort of era of coins, so I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what dates are which. But if you use Numista, the website I use to log my collection and get details about coins from, it will annotate on that specific coin what alignment that coin should be. Should it be medal alignment like modern circulating coins, or should it be coin alignment like you'd see over in the United States? So I'd double check on that if I was you. Trail 4 Buddy Moore says, what do you consider to be your most luckiest find beside the Kew? So I don't actually think the Kew Gardens are the luckiest finds. So with the Kew Gardens, there was 210,000 minted for circulation. Obviously, lots of them have been taken out of circulation by collectors and whatever. So we don't know exactly how many are still in circulation. But I have found a number of NIFC coins not intended for circulation. Whether that's the key dates on the shields, which were only put in collector's sets, or the Megalosaurus 50p, or the Jane Austen £2 coin, the IRB Battle of Britain. So those ones, they shouldn't be in circulation. There should be 0 of those in circulation. So I think they probably are rarer than a Kew Gardens, because it relies on someone buying or being gifted a set of coins, breaking them out, spending them, putting them in the bank, whatever. On a par with that, I would say the fried egg era £2 coin is still one of my absolute favourite finds I've ever had on in any of my coin hunting videos. And equally, some of the Alphabet 10p's are lower minted than the Kew Gardens as well, so that could technically make them rarer, I guess. So there's a whole slew of things. It's really hard to pick a specific luckiest or rarest find, because there are so many different variances. There's that Jersey, was it £2 or 50p, that I found that had a mintage of 10,000, which seems infinitesimally small. But then if you think about the broader strokes of how many coins are minted for Jersey, because it's such a small population, it's a lot less than in the UK. So you'd have to do the maths and work out, as a proportion of the amount of circulating coins out there, what sort of percentage was that 10,000 mintage compared to, say, the 210,000 of a Q. So it's rarest coins is always a very tricky and sticky subject to cover. Pixel Graphica says, why are you so adamant in calling a US penny a 1 cent? It is a penny. It is worth 1 cent. You call a 5 cent piece a nickel and a 10 cent piece a dime, but you refuse to call a 1 cent piece a penny. It's a penny. It is not a 1 cent any more than a nickel is a 5 cents or a dime is a 10 cents. It's a penny. It's not a 1 cent. Penny, penny, penny. Be consistent. Oh, this comment made me chuckle. So, why do I do it? I don't know. I think it's a conflict of, in my mind, a penny is a UK penny. We have pennies in the UK, that's what I would call them. The 1 cent coin, in my defence, does say 1 cent on it, but you're right. A 5 cent coin I would call a nickel, but there isn't any conflict in my mind, as there's no coin in the UK we call a nickel in regular parlance. So there's no sort of bumping up against, oh, if I say that this is a if I say this is a nickel, there's some grey area as to, oh, what do I mean? Because there's nothing in the UK like that. I'm also very conscious that I live in the UK. I don't live in the USA. I've never spent much time in the USA. So I know that there are certain things that you might call things on a daily basis, like you would call a dime and a nickel. But I've never spoken to Americans referring to them as pennies. Other than what about wheat cents? You call them wheat cents, don't you? Not wheat pennies, or do you call them wheat pennies? Good question. I'm not 100% sure on that. Again, I know there's the Indian head penny. That's definitely called a penny, but I'm sure they call them Lincoln cents, don't they? Lincoln pennies, Lincoln cents. Anyway, this is the whole thing. I'm not. I don't have much exposure to US currency or people using US currency, so I don't quite know what to call things all the time. Similar that if you handed me, I don't know, some coins from a far-flung country I'd never heard of, a denomination I'd never heard of, I wouldn't be sure what to call it unless it says on the coins. That's how I read it. That's exactly how it says it on the coins. So I try to be consistent, but nobody's perfect, Pixel. Right, Block Blocky Dude says, how do you stop coins rotating in their holders in your books? Very easy answer, I don't. So the books I use, they're just pockets. The coin goes in it, they're going to rotate, they're going to spin, they're going to get out of alignment. I could sit there and spend an hour slowly manipulating them all so they're all facing the right way, but within a day or two they'll all start slipping again, so it's just a pointless... So what was the phrase that someone used that I learned from the comments? Sisypheus, or something like that. It's just a never-ending task, rolling that boulder up the hill for it just to roll down again. I'll be constantly doing it, so I don't waste my time doing that. Right, Comdam says, the broken webcam made me think of this. Have you ever made a video for this channel but it didn't get saved for some reason, or get lost, or you deleted by mistake and you could never get it back? That would be annoying. There's definitely one of the raw mint trips I went on and recorded a whole bunch of videos with a bunch of the other coin tubers. The one I recorded with Bungle, the files just totally corrupted and I couldn't recover them, couldn't figure out how to save them. I had some help from other people that were more tech minded than myself, but unfortunately couldn't save the files, so that was never used. I think there was a 50p coin hunt that went missing, but it wasn't an impactful one because I didn't find anything new for the book. And I think that was an error on my behalf. I deleted deleted a whole bunch of files, not realizing that included in those files was this 50p coin hunt, or part of it, enough of it that it then wouldn't have worked as an upload. So yeah, I think that was maybe the one, but I'm pretty good with not deleting stuff that's important. I tend to double, triple, quadruple check things before I delete anything, because I know it's virtually impossible to come back or recover something after that, although many websites will have these devices and gizmos that promises you to recover things you've boneheadedly deleted, but it never seems to work. But with that said, let's get back to the coins. Well then, that was not the most successful hunt that I have ever had. The only thing I've pulled out is this, which is not numismatically interesting, it's not rare, it's not valuable, it's scarce. It's just got a little sticker on it that someone's put on, and whenever I see a coin with a sticker on, I add it to my little oddities box. So this is the way with the 10p's, unfortunately. Sometimes they are very, very hard commemorative coins to find, but you've got to keep looking for them because they are out there. They are definitely there to be found, so I'll keep on going. Hopefully next week we've rewarded for my continued perseverance of trying to fill these books. But in lack of having a star find to really show off myself, I'd love to know in the comments what your star coin find of the last week, or your favourite purchase of the week was. Let's get some positivity in the comments about the commemorative coins that are still out there to be found by everyone. As ever, links will be in the description to my coin collecting Discord server if you want to come over and join that. There's also links to my social medias, to my PO box address you can write into, and of course the Britannia Coin Company, who I work for as my day job, making videos for them, so please do check that out as well. All it leaves me to do now is thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time for more coins. Bye!